Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast, coming to you from Plymouth, Massachusetts. Just a couple of guys drinking some beers, having some chow, and talking all things sports.
All right, Dougie. So we got a little bit of a different twist tonight. We're actually blessed to have Nick Coit with us, who is he's a pro, so he's going to be hanging out with us amateurs. But it'll be good to talk to Nick, get his thoughts on the Boston sports scene, what he thinks about the awesome Drake May and the second coming and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. Nick, welcome. Love to see you.
Thanks, fellas. Happy to be here with you. It's always fun to sit around, talk some sports, vent,
Yes.
all those things. That's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. So let's talk Pats then.
Okay.
All right. So wait a minute. We're going to talk Pats, but I want to take a step back and
Okay.
it's just kind of been an evolution because I've been getting nothing but grief because all I've been saying for the last 2 years is how the NFL is very simple. All you need to do is have good offensive line play, good defensive line play, and execute on both sides of the ball. And your skill players are going to do what they do, and you're going to be successful. And all I heard was the roster sucks, and this guy sucks, and everything's terrible, and the coaching and this. I think the coaching's important.
Oh, oh,
Did he
Athletes
freeze?
follow.
I thought it was just
Am
me.
am I frozen?
You froze
Am I
for
You're
a
good
second.
now.
Yeah, you
You're
froze for
back.
a second. You're all right.
You're back.
Oh, sorry. What I was going to say was like these skill guys, they're all the best athletes in the world. So if you give them just a fraction more time, you're going to see their skill. If you don't have that time, you're not going to see it. They're going to look terrible. You're going to say you have a bad roster. So that's my thought there.
Yeah, look, I'm with you in terms of building a football team from the trenches out. I mean, you just look at the Eagles last year and look at what they did on their way to winning a Super Bowl and dominating in that game. They have a great offensive line and great defensive line, and that's what won them the game. And when those things fail, like they have the last few years with the Patriots, you're like, okay, anything else that you do on the roster, you can have great skill players, you can have great guys on the outside. If you don't have the time to get them the ball or the quarterback's running for his life, then there's a problem. And if you can't put pressure on the opposing team's quarterback, then there's a problem. So yeah, I'm with you. And I think part of what's happened with the Patriots this year is I think they've gotten good coaching, particularly a guy like Doug Marrone with the offensive line, experienced guy. And I think that position group itself is getting more, I think, hands-on and more personal because it's not just Marrone. I mean, they have a real staff there this year. And I think you're seeing the difference. You draft a left tackle, and the kid has been fine. As a rookie, he's been fine, and that's a good thing. So, when you invest in it like that, things come around. And then not to mention the quarterback is having the leap that he's having. So, yeah, I'm with you. When the line starts improving, I don't think it's a coincidence that the team starts improving. Douglas?
No short arms.
I don't think the Patriots are as good as everybody says. I think they're an average team and a absolutely abysmal product that is the NFL.
Okay.
I think there are way more bad football teams than there are even decent football teams, and I think the Patriots are going to benefit hugely by major injuries in the NFL as well.
Well, they're also going to benefit from the schedule, and that's no secret. We all know that.
So with that being said, how good are they really when they have a cream puff schedule?
I think when you beat the Bills on Sunday Night Football in Buffalo, you prove something. And then when you come back the next week and you have a big chance for a letdown and the press clippings, quote unquote, to get in your heads and get in the building, and you go out and you win a football game, that's a good thing. They've been playing. I mean, you take away 5 turnovers against Pittsburgh, they controlled that game too. Like they've been decent. They really have been, and I think it's been encouraging. And I don't know, Doug. I don't know how you can't be excited about the young quarterback because that kid is
I
good.
am. I just don't think. I mean, I'm not ready to put him. All I've heard. MVP, book it now. MVP. Like, come on, guys. Like, are we serious? Like, you have no Lamar playing. You have no Joe Burrow playing. Baker's playing out of his mind. Like, you have so many key
Sure.
injuries around the league, and it's just like, guys, like he's. And I'll tell you what, if you have any sort of injury bug on the Patriots, forget about it.
Oh,
If Drake May goes down, forget about it.
Well, yeah.
you say that on about any team.
Yeah, right. And you can only play. I mean, that's what football is. It's a war of attrition. So like Lamar and Joe Burrow going down, you could say the same thing about, okay, well, now Baker Mayfield is in the conversation as the MVP. Like, yeah, he is. He is because they've been really good, and he's elevated his team with all the injuries that they've had at wide receiver. So I don't know. You play the game, and you can't control what's going on with the other 31 teams. And I don't know. The statistics show it, Doug. Like Drake May has been, I think, ever since week one, he's been accurate. He's been pinpoint. I think he's elevated the team at times. I think he's using his legs the right way. Besides the Pittsburgh game, I think he's been taking care of the football much more than he did last year. Like the improvement is all there, and you look around the league, it's not ridiculous at this moment in time to throw him in the MVP conversation. Would I pick him for MVP? No, I wouldn't pick him for MVP right now. I actually might pick Mayfield, but to throw him in the conversation at this point in time, I don't think it's ridiculous.
Well, the numbers are there too.
Yeah.
He's a top 5 in every category. So I mean, yeah,
Right.
he's got to be in the conversation.
He's there. Nobody's putting him in the Hall of Fame. I get it.
No, I think it's it, but I think it, with an asterisk. When you look at the league as a whole, it's just like, yeah, well, the league's been decimated by key injuries, and I understand it's the game of football. He plays very average, boring football.
Well, he does? Drake does?
Yeah,
He does?
yeah.
I'm gonna disagree with you too.
He does?
Disagree with you,
Doug, when a 320-pound defensive lineman's hanging on his shoulder and he puts the ball into the chest of Stephon Diggs 7-8 yards down the field, that's boring to you? Come
Yeah.
on. That's boring? That's
I'd
not
rather,
boring
I'd
to me.
rather have Baker. He's got more
Oh my God.
grit.
No, he's good. I like Baker Mayfield. Believe me, he's won me
Honestly, though-
fantasy football championships, so I'm good. But to say he doesn't play exciting football, I disagree.
If
He's
you were an
been
NFL
exciting.
team today, right now, today, who would you take? Baker Mayfield or Drake May? Today. Everything
Well, I
being
mean,
equal.
Baker's also 30.
That's my point.
Yeah, right. The age consideration, I would probably take Drake. But Baker's good. I mean, Baker is good. And I give that kid credit. And I think what's cool about Baker Mayfield, guys, is, and I think this is happening obviously more and more in the league, we rush because of the whole contract thing and having to decide on whether to pay a quarterback or not in the first 4 or 5 years of their careers.
Yep.
I think some of these guys are getting rushed through, and then we're now seeing the resurgence from some of these guys. Like Baker didn't get that big contract because Cleveland was like, he's not good enough. Look at him now. Sam Darnold didn't get that in New York, obviously played for the Jets, but he gets that resurgence, and now he's starting in the league. Look at Daniel Jones with the Colts right now at 5-1.
Danny's nice.
Crazy. It's crazy. And so I think the Patriots are actually pretty lucky here if they're hitting on a quarterback in his second year and they can decide and look at it and say, oh no, we got our guy here going forward. I think they're pretty fortunate, but it's an interesting trend in the league to see some of these guys that down the line, they get better in better situations. It's fascinating to me.
So another question for you. I asked Coach about it. If the line play has been so good, why can't they run the ball?
I think it's more on the backs than it is the line right now. I don't know if Stevenson has the same burst that he's had, and I don't think Travion Henderson has necessarily translated into maybe what they thought coming out of camp. I thought he was the best player in camp, guys. I thought he was off the charts, and we were talking about.
You were down there, right? You were down there watching him.
I was, and I was like, this kid's got something. He's got some burst, but I think part of it is just like the physical translation of the league. I think maybe part of it is mental too. he's a rookie. Like he's a rookie, and I think he will come around because he's got some talent, some speed. But I don't know. It's obviously a problem with this team, and it's probably the opposite of maybe what we thought. I thought that they'd be pretty good running the ball,
Yeah.
and then their pass protection would be, there's something they struggled with, and it's the total opposite. So it's a good question, Doug, but I don't think these guys are getting much burst, when they get the ball in their hands right now.
And I
Okay.
think the reason for that is because the first thought in their head when they get that ball is don't drop it.
Yeah.
As opposed to
Great point. Great
to
point.
naturally hitting that hole. I think that first thought is, uh-oh, I got to hold on to this thing. And the other thing is, I don't think they're getting Henderson the ball in space where he needs it, where, they're kind of more focused, between the guard and the center. They're not getting him on the outside. And I think that he needs to have a little space to get going. And I think if they could somehow get somebody, whoever that is, serviceable. I mean, they're talking about Henry or whatever, but another guy in here who's not, hasn't been involved with the turnovers that they had earlier, that is more free to run. You might see a little bit difference, and that's kind of contagious,
Big time.
So-
Big time.
so I
Great
think
point,
that's-
coach. Coach, great point about the fumbling issue. Like that is a total mental aspect, especially with Stevenson. It has to be in his head. And that stinks because you want him to, when he runs free, he's a good player, but you're right. It's like,
Yeah.
and it's a great point. But they could use somebody. And to me, guys, it's like, I think all this time we've been talking about with the Patriots, like, oh, they could use a number one wide receiver, that.
Not anymore.
If I'm at the trade deadline, I'm probably prioritizing running back offensively, but I think defensively, guys,
Yeah.
if there's a pass rusher out there that they could go get, I think they would really benefit from that. I like Harold Landry, but I think if they could find somebody maybe younger, I think they would definitely benefit from that.
Who's the guy from Cincinnati? I don't think he's younger. Hendrickson? Is that his name?
Hendrickson, yeah,
He's out tonight too.
yeah,
He is.
Yeah.
he'd be interesting. He'd probably cost you a lot, but
Yeah.
if you could go get somebody like that, man, oh man, that'd be something.
So do you feel, and I know I'm splitting hairs, do you feel the defense has been up to snuff of what was given, like what you thought it was going to be the beginning of the year? Yeah, it was going to be this, give up 7-10 points at most, you're not going to get anything. And now, like, quarterbacks can kind of throw on these guys. I understand Gonzo was out for a little bit, but, like, I mean, you can put up points in the Patriots. The Saints put up 19.
But that's the thing. They're putting up yards. Are they necessarily putting up points?
No.
Yeah, it's bend but don't break, which
Right.
can be frustrating to watch. But if you get down in the red zone and you can't execute against the Patriots defense, that tells me, okay, field gets shorter, they tighten up, and they force them to kick 3 instead of getting 6. So I'm not quite worried yet, but I do think they could get more help in terms of getting some pressure on the quarterback, because I do think like Spencer Rattler had a lot of time in New Orleans, and we've seen that a little bit. But like you look at the Pittsburgh game, they played pretty well defensively. They were put in some bad situations by the 5 turnovers. Like there's times where they have looked pretty good, and having Gonzalez back out there is obviously a plus. I don't know what you think, Coach, but I think they've been pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've given up the third least amount of points in the AFC, which they're doing something right. But Gonzalez, I mean, I love the guy. He definitely makes a difference. I just don't trust him. I just feel like he's one of those guys that, like, if he's not 100%, he's not playing.
Yeah, and it is a very tricky. I mean, it's hard not to bring up the whole contract conversation with him,
Right.
And that's and I don't blame these guys these days. Like, they are looking out for their health and well-being and their big payday, and it's kind of the way that, like, the CBA and things have kind of been structured in the league. Is once these guys show a flash of talent and they're looking for that big payday, they start looking at it and saying, okay, well, I got to make sure that I protect myself and there's no major injury. Otherwise, you're costing yourself millions. So
Yeah, and you can't blame him. Really.
right,
You can't.
I can't either. Yeah, I'm with you. It's Yeah, it stinks. You hope that's not the case, but it's hard not to bring that up at times, especially with he goes down the second day of camp, and then we don't see him
Right.
again until week 4 or 5 here.
With a hamstring. I mean,
Right.
I saw
Right.
Jaylen Brown pull up last night with a hamstring. I'm like, oh boy.
I know.
Next day, I'm fine.
Nagging. I know. I know.
So,
Yeah.
but no, I also think that the NFL is mediocre by design. I think that that's what the league wants because, any given Sunday, any given year, a team can figure it out, and it brings a whole new market, to the eyeballs to the sets and stuff like that, and with gambling and all that stuff, you get a lot of eyeballs anyways. But I think by design, it's parity. I think that's exactly what they want. I don't think there's. I mean, Kansas City has been the darling the last few years, but they're definitely falling off, quite a bit. So I think it is
Not
by
not not
design.
according to everything I saw that last game. They've been pretty much in the mix.
They're so dangerous. They're so dangerous. I wanna write them off, but I can't. They're like
It's
man
the
oh man.
quarterback. You can't write the quarterback off. The guy's
No,
a
you
win.
can't. No, you can't. You're totally right.
So
And then they're gonna get
I'm going to
Rasheed Rice
ask you
back, too.
such a candid question.
Okay.
Do you feel in any way, shape, or form the NFL is rigged?
I'm going to answer that starting with no. However, that call on what would have been the second Pop Douglas long touchdown in New Orleans,
Yep.
that might have been the first time that I allowed myself in my head to say, did somebody call this in? Because it was so late. They were lining up for the extra point. It was so late that you're like, where did this come from? Mm-hmm. It was so, and then at least with Stephon Diggs late in the game and the pass interference, which I mean is totally inconsistent because of the next play, obviously with Hollins. But at least with that one, you look at it and you can see visually, you're like, okay, he put his arm on him. I don't agree with the call, but he put his arm on him. So in real time, maybe the official thought there was a push off. Okay, fine, whatever. The Pop Douglas thing was like totally away from the play. I didn't love the explanation from the officials. Like that was one of the first times I ever was like, But I'll answer it and say no, Doug. But
So I think your
Yeah.
counterpart on Saturday, Scott, is kind of the same mindset. But
Yeah.
do you think we will ever see referees be held accountable in some way, shape? I don't know how you would really do that because everything would be after the fact.
yeah, it'll take a bad call like that in a big spot.
Right.
Usually that's what motivates it. Because then it's so fresh on the minds, it's on a big stage, and then you go to the NFL meetings
Right.
and owners meetings, and that's when
Yeah.
that's the year that they decided, what was it, after that NFC championship, there was a bad non-pass interference call, and they decided
Yeah.
like, hey, let's
Yeah.
review it now, and then it was a disaster, so they took it out. But like, it took that for them to do it. So unfortunately, I think it's going to be some teams going to have a bad call go against them, and then that'll be brought up at the next owners meeting.
And I feel bad saying it, but like if that call happened in like the Jets Browns game, nobody would care.
No, but if it's the NFC championship,
Yeah, 100%.
they will.
I feel you.
Yeah, it's a good
All right.
question.
Beautiful. Any more Pat's questions, Coach?
No, the other thing I was going to say though is with the referees, there's no development path. So I mean, if there was like, a minor league like baseball has, where you have, these refs coming up, and you have these egregious calls, and if you see a pattern, then you're like, you know what, you might suspend a guy for a little bit, hurt him, hit him in the pocketbook, like just to improve, the consciousness, the quality. I mean, supposedly they take all these game films and they evaluate them every week, with the league and stuff. I don't know how serious it is because I think that these guys have jobs that there's nobody standing behind them ready to take it. So I think
Right.
it's I think that that kind of eliminates the accountability because there's really nobody there to take it away from them.
No, it's true. It's true. I also am not a huge fan of this is the media side of it, like the pool report sort of thing. Like, and I think it was Mike Reese that did it for the New England side on Sunday, and he does a fantastic job. He's one of the best in the biz.
Is that after every game?
I think they allow that to happen after every game. They have
Okay.
like one pool reporter. I wish it was more because that's a scenario where, Mike asked the right questions and we got answers and they weren't so great answers, but I don't know. I do think in some way, shape, or form, the accountability needs to be a little bit higher because you're right. There's nobody breathing down their necks. There's and there's no consequences right now. And
It's like the guards being offside for Philly on the tush push.
yeah.
When you
Yeah.
slow it down to like slow mo. But I
Yeah.
mean, how do you make the call in real time?
Right. So yeah,
All right.
if there was some sort of feeder system, maybe that
I
would
got
be
you.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Red Sox.
Okay.
How do you
I'll hit you with a hot take.
Go for it, coach.
already? Sure.
I don't care if they re-sign Bregman. I'd be okay if they let him go.
I'm fine. I don't think he's worth the $40 million.
No, just his age. Injuries come up. He was great in the field, but he was okay at the plate. Like he wasn't as clutch as as you're used to seeing him be. And I think they could use that money somewhere else, like first base or bringing in a solid right-handed DH. Or I would be. I mean, I'd be okay if they signed him, but it would have to be the right deal. But I wouldn't be bummed out if they didn't.
Yeah, I think you guys have the right thinking here with him between age and, goes to the injury this year. And yeah, I think the thought there is if you can sign him to a longer term deal and the average annual value is less, then I think it is a good deal for both sides because I think he can bring you something. And I think when he's opting out the way he is, I think that's on the table and it's possible. And I'd be okay with that because I think he does add a lot of value to not only your clubhouse, but he is still a good right-handed bat. And, maybe you are eating a tough year or two on the end of whatever deal that you give him. But, if you're getting, instead of paying him 40, if you're paying him, if it's 3 for 30, then you are saving a little money. You are keeping him around and, he does help your lineup. And clearly he had a great influence on the clubhouse. Clearly with, and you don't pay $30 million for an influence on the clubhouse, but he did help. And I think the guys like Anthony and Meyer will continue to gravitate toward him because he's a very smart player. So for the right deal, I'm with you. But if Boris goes out there and somebody wants to offer him 7 years and whatever, then thanks for your service.
Yeah,
Alex.
all the power to you. Not going to, but like I just don't.
Right.
Because what did he miss? 50 games?
Something
55?
like that.
A lot, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's a lot of cheddar.
It is. It is. But he's a good option at third and a good right-handed bat. And the thing we have to keep in mind, guys, with this offseason with the Red Sox is it's funny because you hear conversation, oh, should they sign like this guy or this guy? Should it be like Schwarber or Alonso, whatever? Guys, they can sign all of them. They have the money. There's no salary cap. It's baseball. Hey, John, open up the wallet. Now's the time. You can sign Alonso and Schwarber and Bregman and trade for Joe Ryan and whatever. You're the Red Sox. Act like it. It just bothers me to no end that they've acted like a small market team. Now's the time.
What I want to know is, it's obvious. It's obvious they made a choice. They said, you know what, we've brought these championships here. We've given the people what they want. Now let's treat it like a business and treat it like a profit center, which it is. And they're doing that, and they're trying to get value and all that stuff. And these young guys that are coming up, they're signing them to these big deals, for like $8 million a year for 10 years and all that stuff. But what do the numbers look like, for the Yankees or the Dodgers that are spending the money? They're getting the guys, and they're consistent. Well, the Yankees not so much, but the Dodgers are consistently in the World Series. They're consistently winning. I guarantee you they're making more money than the Red Sox, even though, they're spending a hell of a lot more. Plus, they have these deferred contracts. Like, if that's legal, then do it.
Exactly. There's ways to do it. You
Yeah.
have the money. You're the Red Sox. You're making profits left and right with all the other things that you have and all the businesses. Like, I'm absolutely with you. And what tells you that the small market, like everybody keeps bringing up the Rays, that model works?
They
It
want
doesn't.
it.
They haven't won anything. Exactly. Exactly. And you're the Red Sox, and you can do both. You can develop a farm system, and you can sign the right guys at the major league level and compete. That's been the thing that's bothered us for the last 5 to 7 years, is that, okay, you can treat it like a business, but don't sacrifice the major league level. You can still compete at the major league level. So you're not signing the biggest name on the market every year. Okay. But you can still sign guys, and you can still do decent business up there. And now that you have the farm system that you do, and I like that, the fact that they're doing these early deals with guys like Anthony. Like, invest now
Yeah.
and see if you can get a decent deal. And down the line, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you're the Red Sox. You got the money. So go ahead and spend
Yeah.
it.
And I think not going after Ryan at the trade deadline cost them a series.
Big
They
time.
could have moved. They could have moved forward for sure with a solid number two guy there. And they didn't do it. Which, I don't know if they reflect on that and say, yeah, we blew that. Who knows? Because you gotta invest in pitching. They did it with Crochet. It worked.
Yeah.
Okay, do it again. There's no reason you can't do it again.
Pitching's
so
everything.
They got to do
Pitching's
it.
everything. Yeah.
The other thing that I'm kind of bummed out about, it seems like it's consistent in Boston that all of a sudden all of our teams, including the Celtics, are becoming very fiscally responsible, and to the point where it's like, what are we doing? Like, we got the best fans in the world that are shelling out top dollars for all the seats, and we're paying for Nesson and all this stuff. Like, why all of a sudden is everybody, Robert Kraft? Do you think he's going to go sign? They're going to make a big trade for a guy like Brown that has a big contract? No chance. I mean, so it's like they're conditioning us to expect them to cheap out, which I can't stand.
Yeah, I get irked when it's the Red Sox and the Patriots, because I think they're in a separate category from the Celtics, because they have the money, they have the cap space in terms of the Patriots. So go out and spend it. You want your team to be good, you got to do that. The Celtics are I think it stinks that they're a victim of what this new CBA is with the NBA and the apron and the second apron and all that. The NBA did it so they can have more parity, and there aren't these super teams and dynasties winning every year, every decade. And so the Celtics had to decide, are we going to go all in and get a championship? And, how long is this window going to last? And they did that. And, hey, you got a championship out of it, so you can't complain too much. But what stinks is now, okay, they have to trade away Holiday and trade away Porzingis, even though they made good deals and good business on that side. And the NBA is
Horford's gone too, right?
And Horford's gone too. He's in Golden State. Like, they had to let him go. And now look at their front court. It's like they're young, they're inexperienced. There's a lot to be desired there. The good news is, if you draft well and you find superstars, you'll still be in the mix. And this team has Jaylen Brown, has Derek White, and at some point late in the season may get, an 80 to 75% Jason Tatum. And, don't push him to come back. But if you have those three guys on the floor, you can still compete. You're still going to be pretty darn good.
Yeah, have you noticed that they kind of throwing the Jason Tatum rehab thing down our throat? Like, look, he's dunked. Like, look, it's like, I don't care if he dunked. Like, the guy's, with his arms extended, he probably has to jump like 8 inches to dunk it. Like, let's not get crazy. Let's let the guy heal. Like, don't shove it down my throat that he's coming back. He's coming back, because and maybe that's their way of trying to drum up interest. But it's like,
yeah,
I watched some of the preseason games. Last night was gross, but they moved the ball, because when Tatum was there, He's an ISO guy, so it comes to him, the ball stops. Brown's not necessarily that same guy. He can't handle it like Tatum does. So the ball moves. And when the ball moves, guys get good looks. And when they get good looks, there's a rhythm, and they can put up points. And they did it a couple times in the preseason. I think they're a curious team. I think they have a chance of being really good. I don't know how motivated they are to be really good, honestly. That's like a weird thing. I think you're going to see Missoula coach this year a little more than we saw before. But I do think they got a chance to be pretty good because of the way they move the ball. They play pretty good D. Those young guys that you talk, the big guys, they're athletic and they
Yeah.
can protect the rim. So that'll be interesting to see a guy like Kata can step up, be that defensive presence that I think he can be. Pritchard's got to he's got to step up to be more consistent. He's got to be a 20-plus point a game guy, and he hasn't really been that way. He's had his moments, but not consistent. Derek White is Derek White. I mean, he's going to bring it, and he knows how to bring it. So I think they're interesting. And the new guy, Simon, he can shoot.
He's a bucket.
Yeah, he can shoot. So
Yeah.
they're interesting. They're very interesting. The young guys, someone's got to step up, whether it's Hauser or Shireman or they get the new guy. They get the guy from Minnesota.
Minot.
Minot.
Yep.
Yep.
And Garza.
And Garza's interesting. So I mean, there's some pieces there. They're gonna be. I mean, it's not like there's a juggernaut. You know what I mean? There's no awesome team in the East. The Knicks, are they the awesome team? I don't think so.
Yeah, I still don't totally believe in the Knicks. I think Cleveland's probably the team.
Yeah.
Cleveland's probably the team. Donovan Mitchell's a stone cold. He's a killer. Like he's awesome. You know what, Coach? It's a good point about Missoula and coaching this year because I think he's already trying to do things differently. I think he knows that his front court is inexperienced and they're going to have some issues rebounding. So if they can push the tempo and they can move the ball down the floor, and the fact that they're running as much as they are in camp, that tells me that, okay, they know what their roster is, so they're going to play to that style. And when you have Derek White and Peyton Pritchard and Jaylen Brown, shooting as you move down the floor, then, it's probably a decent thought. So I don't know. They are interesting because you just don't totally know. They've got talent, but yeah, that front court it's definitely an X factor, and it could go either way.
Do you think they make the playoffs?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely, definitely. They have the talent. They're too talented to not, and especially in the East.
And
What their
it's gonna be
seeding
fun to
is,
watch.
I don't know. Yeah,
Because the ball moves, and when the ball moves, it's fun. You don't care
agree.
who puts it in. You just get it to the right guy.
that's why Isaiah Thomas and those Celtics were
Exactly.
going to the playoffs because they could
Right.
move the ball, and it was a sharing of the basketball, which was nice.
I think Felga said it. He said if Isaiah Thomas was your best guy and you made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, this team's a hell of a lot more talented than that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
see what happens.
Totally agree. Douglas, you've been quiet.
That's what he does. He tells you about the glass being half empty all the time. So
I think we're really going to see what Missoula has because I feel like he's just had so much talent on the floor that he hasn't really needed to be a quote like good coach. The ship kind of ran itself, so we'll kind of see what he has
Definitely.
this year and what he can do, what way he can shake up and really game plan, and then I think that'll speak to how good of a coach he actually is. You know what I mean?
X's and O's wise.
You got Tatum, like, all right, guys, you guys know what to do. Go ahead. For 82 games, you're just on autopilot, and then you can just, do your thing.
Well, and I think he gets a little bit of, I think, leeway here because of that, because it's like, okay, well, Jason Tatum's not on the floor, but still got talented guys. And you're right, like X's and O's wise, he's probably going to be in closer games. So what happens at the end of a game? You got a timeout, you got to draw something up. What happens with Joe? What do you see on the floor? We all know that Brad Stevens was like the genius with that stuff. What will Joe show? And that is an interesting, factor. So you're right, Doug.
I hope he performs well, and we're not having conversations like Missoula dropped the ball. Like, why didn't you call the timeout here? Like, why you giving it to this guy. Let's switch to another team that also plays in the Garden.
I just want to ask Nick a quick question. Have you been have
Yeah.
you been in the post game press conferences at all with the Celtics?
Oh yeah.
Missoula seems like a kind of an interesting cat. I like him. The other night he comes out and he just looks out at the press guys. First thing he says is, "Oh, you got arm.
Yeah, new chairs,
nice
right?
new chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's interesting.
you know
dude.
what? He is morphed as these few seasons have gone on here. And I appreciate that about him because I don't think he's been the same guy as who he was when he started. And I think he's taken the time to get better as a coach on the floor, but also when he's in that press room, I think he's gotten better and learned and evolved there too. You know, when he first started, if somebody didn't ask him a certain question or something like that, he'd get his back up about it. Now it's very much like, no. There's a job to do, and I may get asked a certain question, and so I need to handle it a certain way. And he'll tell you what he thinks, and he's unapologetic, and you like that. But I also think he knows how to play the game a little bit more in that room, and I think that's a beneficial thing for him because I remember he visited Foxborough and visited with Belichick, a few times when he was even when he was an assistant coach. And I think when he first took the head coaching gig, it was very much like sometimes I think he was trying to do the Belichick thing maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And then now I think he picks his spots and knows, no, I'm the coach. I can say what I want to say here and I can back it up because I believe it. And yeah, so he is very interesting. But there are times where he'll say something and you're like, oh boy, Joe, where are you going with this? But that keeps it interesting, right?
Yeah.
You'd rather that than somebody that's in there that's giving you bland answers, right? You want somebody that's unique, that has a personality. That's what we like about these coaches. That's why I like Vrabel. Like, I think Vrabel is very much, this is Mike Vrabel when you're seeing him in front of the cameras and the microphones. I'd say the same thing about Alex Cora. I'd say the same thing about Marco Sturm, who we're just getting to know here, and has a bit of a lighter personality, and you like that about a coach.
Do you think there's, I won't say animosity or just there's a divide? I feel like there's a divide between Vrabel and McDaniel.
I think
There's
that's a
something
little.
there.
I think that's a little overblown in terms of like divide, but maybe there's.
There's
I don't know if
something
it's a divide, but maybe that's maybe a healthy back and forth. Like I do think they have a good relationship. And I don't know, was McDaniel's Vrabel's first choice as offensive coordinator? Maybe not, but I mean, boy, it's working, and maybe it's just the fact that McDaniel's has been a head coach, and so maybe he's not afraid to push back on Vrabel, and maybe that's a healthy thing, I mean, it's working out because Vrabel's been pretty good as the CEO of the team so far, and McDaniel's is proving again that he's pretty good with young quarterbacks. So whatever it is, they ought to keep it up because it works.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. I just feel like there's not necessarily a negative thing, but there's a thing. You can feel it. There's a thing.
But
It's
that's
not
healthy.
like, yeah, I agree. And I
Why?
think it does have to do.
Because Vrabel mentioned the quarterback's coach and not the offensive coordinator.
I mean,
Injuries,
that's like a
success so far.
but that's like a small thing. But yeah, that's there.
But I don't think that was necessarily taking something away from McDaniels. I think that was just giving credit to something that you don't really hear or see credit being given to. Does that make sense?
It does, but I think there's also a my guy, not my guy thing going on, in Vrabel's head. You know what I mean? Like McDaniels is not his guy. He was a craft hire, 100%. So I think Vrabel wants to spotlight his guys.
But I also think he has a good relationship with Josh, and he's okay with it. You know what I'm saying? It's not it's not like it was totally forced. Okay, gosh, I'm really getting stuck with somebody that I don't know, that sort of thing. I think it was very much, okay, maybe Robert strongly encouraged it, and I think Vrabel was like, no, I think he is pretty good, And the thing that's really good about it, guys, is we got used to, which is not a good thing. I think we got used to like Belichick having his guys and all of his guys on the staff and in the front of all that. And by the end, now, and look, they're all down in North Carolina now, and look at how great things are going there, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you need guys to challenge you. And maybe Vrabel looked at it and said, maybe this guy will challenge me a little bit, you know?
Yeah, no, it's definitely working out for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I love watching. I mean, even
Me too.
I did a reel after the Pittsburgh game because everyone was saying, "Oh, they suck," and this and that. I'm like, yeah, hold on, they dominated that game,
Yeah.
and they just put the ball on the ground 5 times, but they dominated that game. So I was like, something works here, and ever since then, they haven't looked back.
Right.
Although Doug thinks they suck still, but that's all right.
I don't think they I just think it's like I said, mediocre league.
When have you ever come out and said, "Wow, I'm psyched to see this team and they're playing great"? And, have you ever felt that way about any team?
Right now, you're not going to like it. The Giants.
The Giants of this year?
That Jackson Dart, Cam Scadaboo combo. The Giants' front four on the defensive side of the ball is nasty. I just like the swag that Dart. I just like you got two young guns running your offense right now. One's a bulldozer. He'll just be like, "Hey, run that way." He's like, "Okay, whatever you want." I just like Jackson Dart's swag. I just think they're fun.
The problem with them is I don't think their coach is very good.
No, you lost Neighbors, which sucks. So now you're trying to make something happen. But I don't necessarily think they're record wise going to be good, but I think they're exciting to watch.
All right.
All right. Well, Doug can stand up on his chair and take his shirt off and flex like Ryan Fitzpatrick and Cam Scadabo. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I just think it's fun.
Well, the thing is, though,
I just think they're a fun combo. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like you wouldn't love Jackson Dart if he was here. You wouldn't love Cam Scadaboo if he was here.
Oh, I wanted Cam Scadaboo.
You wouldn't rather have Cam
I did
Scadaboo in the
too.
backfield right now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I wanted him. Oh, I like the intangible thing about that kid.
But
Definitely.
Nick, how do you feel about the Pats playing the Giants this year? I mean, it makes me like, because they got this thing with the Giants. I don't know what it is.
It's always fun. I
fun.
love it. It makes you nervous. It makes you sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
But if like Doug's saying, if Dart and Scadabo and some of their young players continue to grow and grow rapidly, then that game could be a sneaky decent one on the schedule here. Besides some of the other ones that they've,
Right.
that have gone downhill, like the Ravens matchup. I mean, Lamar will probably be healthy, but like some of these other matchups here on the schedule, you're like,
Yeah.
that could be exciting.
Right. Do you want to talk a little bees, Doug?
Yeah, the soon to be Stanley Cup winning Bees.
No, I think the difference this year is that, Swayman had a full training camp. I mean, he had an awesome World Cup or whatever that was. And he's come in, and that first game against Washington, he made it look easy. He had every angle, every puck looked like Velcro. I mean, he's dialed. He's legit. He's legit. I'd like to see them continue with Korpisalo in almost in every other game situation, just because I think that benefits Swayman. I think Swayman, we get the best out of Swayman when he was sharing the net. I mean, obviously, you want to put him in the high stress situations, but share as much as you can with Korpisalo, because that'll only, I think, pay dividends down the road with Swayman being more fresh, in the season. I think they're going to struggle to score goals, but I think defensively they're going to be pretty good. They're just going to be a muck team that just gets in front of the net and bangs the puck until it goes in.
And that to me is again playing to the strength of your roster. And I'm with you. I think it's that whole contract situation was like the first domino last year that just set everything else off with that team. It really did. It was. I don't think the forward group or the D guys loved that whole thing happened, and then Swayman walks back in. I think there was clearly some sort of tension or something. Maybe it was outspoken, maybe it wasn't, maybe it was subtle. But that was such a domino last year. So I'm with you. The fact that he had a full camp and he's ready to go is a good thing. You can see it already on the ice. And you're right. Like, you look at the forward group and you're like, well, you got Pasternak, and then so if you got to win games 2-1, it might not be pretty, but if that's the way you got to win them, that's the way you got to win them. And I like Sturm as a coach for a group like that
I do.
because
Okay.
it's funny. He's such a positive guy. When you
Yeah.
meet him in person, he's such a positive guy, and you love that. But there's been some I don't know if it was behind the B that they were shooting for or something, but I remember seeing a video or two on social media where he was getting after the guys, and I'm like,
Yeah.
good, okay, this is good. So when they get on the ice and they lace up the skates, he's on them, and I think he knows that he has to be because they really got to be, locked in if they're going to win some of the games the way they want to win the game. So he's an interesting coach to me so far. I like him.
And what I didn't like though is the beginning of the year, when they started, Cam Neely comes out and says, we're going to be good defensively, and Swayman has the benefit of the full camp, and that blah blah blah. And then at the deadline, we'll address the scoring needs. It's like you had all off season. Like, what do you mean you're going to address them then? Like what? You know what I mean? Like I think this is
Yeah.
kind of like, let's try this out, see if we're in the mix, and then maybe we make a deal. We make something happen. But if not, we got very high draft pick, probably going to be on the team next year, and Hagens. The other kid they drafted 2 years ago, the big guy that also plays for Boston College, he looks like he's coming into his own a little bit.
The Turner, yeah.
I don't know if you seen him lately, but the kid's good.
Yeah, I'm going to have an opportunities to call a couple Hockey East games this winter.
Oh, nice.
So I'm looking forward to it because
Have you done that before?
I haven't. No, and I'm excited because it's just like it's the best college hockey around. And now you've got some of the kids coming from juniors, and there's some. I mean, Hockey East is loaded with draft picks and guys that were picked high, like Hagens. I know Providence has a kid, Roger McQueen, that was top 10 with the Ducks. I can't wait to ask the kid what it was like to have Charlie Conway, aka Joshua Jackson, announce your name, Doug. Pretty awesome.
Oh, it was him and
I'm like,
was it Gaffney?
oh, the girl? No, it was
Connie.
Connie. Yeah, there you
Connie,
go.
yeah, Connie.
Yeah. But it was cool. That's cool. But like, he's top 10 guy. And Hagens is top 10. Like all these guys are in Hockey East. Like and they're right in our backyard, which is really cool.
Well, that's the thing.
So
Felger
young
and
talent is
Mads-
going to be huge.
Felger and Mads were complaining about the Bruins, drafting out of the Hockey East. It's like, well, that's where the best guys are. Like
It is.
Hello.
Yeah, it is now.
If you look at the Final Four every year, it's either a Big Ten team. And Denver's usually there, but every single year consistently, that's where the best players are. So it's like, why travel? Because they're all here.
I mean, who wouldn't want? I mean, year after year, there's the best guys. Like, 10, 11 years ago, it was Jack Eichel at BU.
Yeah.
And, a few years after that.
We'll see him tonight, right? He's on the
with
Knights,
Vegas,
right? Yeah.
Yep. He's Vegas.
Fresh off a brand new contract. Too.
Yep. Big money guy.
Buffalo said he couldn't play anymore. Blah blah blah. He goes to Vegas, has the surgery he wants, and now he's one of the best guys in the league. It's
Good player. Good player. And then a few years after that, it was Cale Makar at UMass. It's like, that guy's a stud. Like, so yeah, I know they complain. It's just Felger just doesn't love the whole local thing.
Have you met him?
Grew up in. I haven't. I have not had the pleasure.
Really?
I worked with his wife though. Yeah, I worked with his wife. Yeah, when I worked at 25, I worked with Sarah Underwood. She's awesome. Like classy person.
Kind of like what are you doing with him, right?
Oh, the totally opposite. And he knows it too. He'll say it. Like it's so funny. It's so funny.
No, he seems cool, but he just like I don't like the stick, and Dougie doesn't like the stick. Like, everything is suck. I hate that. It is.
But you know what?
It was like frustrating when you're winning Super Bowls and it's like they would put on a 4-hour show of like what sucked about the Super Bowl. Like they should have won by 30 and they only won by Mike. 20. Like, okay.
I know. Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. It still has real estate in your head, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it works.
You're still talking about it. Yeah,
it works.
Yeah, obviously.
He pisses you off, and that's what it is.
Oh, I know. And you got people calling in, like seething at the mouth, like, get these guys on the phone right now. But I made the switch. I'm an EI guy now. I really like when Vrabel's on there Monday mornings at 6:30.
Good.
Bright-eyed, talking to everybody. I think that's good. So I like the crew.
Yeah, they have a good morning show. Greg Hill does a good job. He's got
I don't know what's going on the other one. That's just...
Yeah, I know. Hey, every show has transition and all that. It's
I think there might be an opportunity. I don't know.
sure, absolutely,
For you.
absolutely.
For you, go
Yeah,
do it. Throw that old hat in the ring.
I'd love to do that. That would be. I
yeah.
mean,
I was talking for Nick.
I know. I'm thinking Nick brings us along.
I
This is
know
what happens.
his whole schedule would have to change. He's usually a night owl.
Oh,
My 2 hours in the morning on Saturdays is very
brutal.
very appropriate. It's worth getting up for because people get up with us, which is cool.
Yeah.
Circling back to the Sox a little bit, did you get any sense of them overperforming?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think there was some of that. I think
I didn't
guys
know if I was like
definitely-
alone in thinking that. I'm like, I think this team's kind of out kicking their coverage a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's a credit to Cora. I think he pushed some of these guys. I think this was a decent year for him managing this ball club because there was certain positions where you're just like, what are they going to do here? Second base is like, who is the
Yeah.
second baseman?
I know. Roman
And-
Gonzalez.
Exactly. And then the fact that Meyer goes down there and then, Roman Anthony goes down with the injury and they still get to the postseason and they have all the walk-off wins they have and you're balancing things in the lineup and, the way that the starting pitching step forward, like they definitely outkick some things. And that's a great thing. Like they made it to the postseason and that's awesome. But now's the time to invest. Make the team better. Shore up those positions because you got the money and you got the young talent. Add to it, man. Add to it.
What would you do with Rafaela? Would you still use him as a utility guy, or would you kind of like him to be, hey, listen, center field is yours. You're our everyday
He's
guy.
a Gold Glover out there. I mean, the
Yeah,
guy-
center field, and keep him there. I don't want him at second base. I keep him there. That dude can play center.
And then I'm assuming you're on the train of Duran. You pretty much see you later.
I would have traded him at the deadline for Joe Ryan, and I hope he wasn't the holdup because that would stink because they could have used Joe Ryan, and it may cost them more now to get him in the offseason. But yeah,
It's tough too because like I love Duran like as the guy.
yeah, very popular.
He's just man.
I got to be honest with you. At the deadline, I was like, don't trade Duran because it seemed like as Duran goes, so go the Sox. Like he created the offense, he got everything rolling. But as it wore on, to me, it became obvious. Like if this guy's got value, then see what you can get because the depth they have out there is incredible.
Yeah,
So they don't need him necessarily, and he could be more value as a trade. They got a Gold Glove right fielder, potential Gold Glove center fielder. Roman Anthony, they probably move him to left next year, right?
probably.
The weird thing is have you ever seen a team galvanize and just up their play based on what was he, 19? How old is he?
Oh, Roman?
Yeah.
21.
21.
Where's
21-year-old
19?
kid. Yeah. A 21-year-old kid comes in and literally just kickstarts that whole team and they just take off from there. That was amazing.
It was amazing.
Amazing. That kid
Lived up to the hype.
legit.
Lived up to the hype.
He won't swing at a bad pitch. He just won't.
I'm with you.
Awesome.
The eye
Yeah.
for the ball is what struck me. And like the first couple weeks, like average wise, you could tell he was absorbing the big leagues.
Absolutely.
You could tell it was like, okay, he's gonna come around because you can see. It was like you could see him processing what things look like at the major league level, and then all of a sudden, after a couple weeks, took off. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. I drool over the kid. I think he's awesome.
I can't wait. Can't wait for
Yeah.
next year to see that. That's gonna be
Me too.
it's gonna be fun. They just they need some good arms.
Yep.
Some good arms.
Yep. It's all about pitching. Go get me another one. If you can't get Joe Ryan, go get me Michael King. Go get me Rhode Island's own Michael King if he gets out on the open market. That would be nice. That kid's a stud. That could be a
Did he
good
play at
number, too.
BC? What did he play?
He did. He
Yeah.
did play at BC.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a stud.
He's a stud.
I saw it today and I was kind of shocked. My guy out there in Seattle, the catcher,
The dumper.
Yeah.
He didn't get a single Gold Glove vote, and he ranks first in every like defensive stat.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. The Narvaez is a finalist, and I love Narvaez. I love what he brought to the team this year. I can't help but get the catcher's interferences out of my
Yeah, right.
head in Philadelphia. So I'm like, Gold Glover? I don't know. I don't know, Jim. Like,
I don't know, Jim.
yeah.
They need more depth at that position too, because Connor
Yeah.
Wong's not the answer.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. What are the questions you got, Coach?
Nothing really. This has been a lot of fun. I think it's been has had a good flow to it. I think we brought a lot of good stuff out there. It's not necessarily things that are regurgitated, which I can't stand. Yeah, I mean, I my goal is when someone watches us to come away going, "Oh, I didn't think about that," and I hopefully that's the case tonight, and it's been a blast. And hopefully we can, more to come. A little more frequency would be awesome. It would be great to have you on here consistently and see what happens. But I enjoyed it, Dougie. How about you, Mister Glass half full?
I
No,
do,
it's not full. It's not full.
and I do. Cordy must get 15 texts from me every Saturday morning,
Yeah,
firing them off. Well, I tell them it's tough too because like I have to listen on the Odyssey app. I can't get the radio station at my house, so I think I'm like a solid like 45 seconds behind. So like by the time I like hear it and I write the text, they're already way
On to something
past the
else.
point. Yeah.
Right. That's what happens. Yeah. And it's just a
Like we already talked about that, Doug. 10 minutes
there's a
ago.
flow. Yeah, there's a flow. Yeah. But what I appreciate is that there's so much interest in it and people care about it and listen, and it's fun. It's fun to kind of have that personal feel to our show because Scott and I do get texts from, people that we know and love, and it's cool because it makes it a fun conversation for 2 hours, and then we go about our weekend, and it's really cool.
yeah.
So what do you think on Sunday? Patriots get the W down in Tennessee.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the spread?
Seven
question.
7.5.
Is it? Yeah,
Wow.
they got some turmoil down there, and I know Vrabel's definitely not telling them win one for the Gipper, but I bet you these guys, they believe in him already, and so they definitely want to win one for the Gipper. Like they want to go down there and play well for Vrabel because I think they're rallying around him. So I think they'll be inspired in some way, shape, or form to play well for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'd like to see a nice tight game, where they're just executing and you can just tell that Tennessee has no chance.
Yeah,
That's what I'm expecting. If they're as good as I think they are, I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to come out and just kind of like they did last week, although last week was like a little sloppy because of the refereeing and stuff, but they took control. You know what I mean? You knew that they were going to win it and they controlled it. I'd like to see them this week, just a little more clean, get out there and just, we're going to do what we're going to do and there's nothing you can do about it. So
yep. That would
I'd
be
like
nice.
to see that. I'd like to see
Me
that.
too. Me too.
Real quick, it seems like it's an easy solution, but like the Pats can't run the ball. Why would you not just blitz Drake like every play?
Well, and this is a league where teams adjust, and that's probably what we're going to see here going forward. Is teams will try to, say, okay,
Yeah, we know
beat
you
us with
can't
the
run the
run
ball.
game.
Yeah.
Right. And it's easier said than done because you have to have the personnel, at least, especially in like a secondary. But oh yeah, if they can't prove that they can run the ball, teams will know it, and that's why the Pats got to continue to try to figure it out. And that's the beauty of the game of football,
Yeah. The other thing too is you haven't seen the Pats run a lot of screen passes.
Yeah.
So if a team comes in heavy with a blitz, you start throwing a couple screens, especially to Henderson. I'd like to see that. That'd be okay.
Yep. Then we'll see the wheels on that kid.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
For sure.
So
Beautiful.
this was good, Doug.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Nick, we appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, the NFL, the other seasons. I'd love to keep this conversation going and, just see what happens. But appreciate it. Appreciate everything.
Boys, I very much appreciate it. This was fun. Really fun.
Hope we didn't take away from your Thursday night. We'll still get you off with plenty of time left in the Thursday night game.
Yeah, and as Dougie's, putting in his second half parlays or whatever, maybe he can post this thing on YouTube.
No, I'm
There you
going to
go.
bed. I got a 5 a.m. start in the city tomorrow.
Woo.
Yeah,
Wow.
probably
What a
tomorrow
baby.
night.
Good.
All right. Well, I'm going to be on you, but Nick, good to
no
see
doubt.
you.
You too, guys.
Dougie, go to bed.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Thanks, fellas.
Talk soon.
We'll see you.
Okay.
See you.